In this video, we're going to look at how Rider analyzes your code and makes different suggestions. So we're in this My Implementation file. Again, you can download this. And I've just added some temporary code to my method. It doesn't actually do anything. I just wanted to show some code with warnings. So all it's doing is I've got a list. I'm calling getItems, which is down here. This just returns an array. I'm iterating over those items. If the item starts with foo, which this one does, then I will add it to the list. From a business point of view, it doesn't achieve anything. It's just some code that we can play around with. But we can see we've got some squigglers, like under my list. If we hover over, it mentions like a warning that my list is never used. It's updated but never used. getItems, if I hover the mouse over, dereference of possible null reference. We've got a green squiggly here, which is a suggestion saying it can be converted to a link expression. But it does warn you that it will add under the hood another getEnumerable. So whilst it be cleaner code, it might be less performant, but at least we're being informed about that. Down here, we can see we've got various things that are grayed out. And on the right, we can see we've got these yellow bars, which kind of show you the entire file. It's kind of like a map of the entire file of warnings and errors and things. If there was an error, let's just do an intentional error. You can see it's gone red, and you can see we've got red in this bar. Let's undo that. We can see at the top, there's a one at the top. If I go to the very top, then there's an unused using statement, which we'll also get rid of. So these kind of warnings, now this might have changed, and I don't want to say too much bad about Visual Studio, but from experience, I quite often see a big difference between code that's been written by a Visual Studio developer versus a Rider developer. Quite often, code that's been written by a Visual Studio developer, whilst Visual Studio warns about these things, it's less in your face, so it's less obvious. So quite often I see code, like all warnings like this, where more often, if the code's been written by a Rider developer, then they would have fixed them because Rider's a bit more in your face and it helps you out a bit more. Standard disclaimer, that might have changed more recently, but that's just my past experience. So we're not going to fix these warnings up yet. We'll do that in the next video. But what I do want to show you is when I clicked up here and we look at this bars, by clicking on it, we got this pane. So we can see like a pane showing all the warnings in this file. You've also got along here all solution files. And this shows everything across the entire solution. Now it's not showing anything here because if I do this eye icon, it's not currently showing warnings. So by clicking on that, it's just asking you to confirm. And now we get those warnings. So if you've got lots of warnings in different files, we can go through and tidy up the entire solution. This pane is called the Problems tool window, which you can get to down here, or Alt and 6. If we let's close this. Let's have a look at one of the suggestions. So this one is basically saying that that's redundant. We don't need that in this version of C#. If I Alt Enter, and this is a great way of learning new language syntax, it gives you the option to refactor it. Again, we'll do that in the next video. But what I want to show here is that we can actually change the warnings. So we can say this particular instance, we're going to disable it once with a comment, and that'll put a pragma beforehand. I'll undo that. Alt Enter again to get that back. I can disable it in the file with a comment. I can disable it and restore, so it'll put a pragma before and after. I can disable it for the method for the class. I can also change the severity. So I can say, don't show that at all. I would rather keep my code like that. I can make it a hint, a suggestion, a warning, or even an error. Another thing that's quite useful is you can say, why is Rider suggesting this? So if I click on this, then it'll pop up a browser window with an explanation about that suggestion. So you can see out of the box, Rider gives you a lot of code analysis and suggestions. You can, if we click on this server-side analysis, they do have this, which you can run in your CI/CD pipeline and do various things. And it's actually for vulnerabilities, so that gives you more advanced analysis. Or you've got the Roslyn analyzers. You can use other third-party products like Sonar Cloud, and there's various others. But out of the box, you get an awful lot of warnings and suggestions to really improve your code. In the next section, we're going to look at tidying up some of these warnings using our favorite shortcut, Alt Enter.